İngiltere'de yaşanan gelişmeleri. Hantec Markets'a gideceğiz. Piyasa analisti Richard Perry karşımızda. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I would like to start with the recent statements from Mark Carney. The speculation about the Carney's timing is over, so he will be on the Bank of England till 2019. What do you think about the uncertainty that has caused? Do you believe that's made any effect on the pricing side? And do you expect Mark Carney to perform till the end of Brexit in a market-friendly manner?
Well, it seems as though that he's obviously meant the announcement that has been made that has reduced the uncertainty behind it, and now he's going to be staying till 2019. That is obviously going to help to settle the markets to a certain extent. I don't necessarily think it was a very strong announcement for the positivity of sterling, because I think he's going to cut his term short by a certain extent by 2 years. He's only extending it by the 1 year. He could have extended it by 3 years. So to a certain extent, I don't think that's a great outcome, but still I think that the uncertainty has been hanging over the markets, and that will help to sort of settle them down a little bit to a certain extent, I think.
And what's your basis scenario for Brexit? Is it a harder one, or a hard Brexit, or a softer one?
Well, that's the difficult question, isn't it? I mean, we still are only right at the beginning of the Brexit debate, really, as to exactly how the UK is going to come out of this. A lot of the politicians on the Conservative Party are still pushing towards a potential hard Brexit. I think the immigration factor is a real key element there, because obviously the EU seems to think that they're not going to be moving on that. So it seems as though that there could well be a hard Brexit coming down the line, but we don't know yet as to exactly whether that's going to happen or not. The markets would obviously be preferring a soft Brexit, where the UK still retains an element of access to the single market, but it certainly doesn't seem as though that is the way that the Conservative Party are going at the moment.
So what do you think about the weakness of sterling as well? Because we just saw it's coming through 120s. Do you expect that to go lower than that?
Well, it certainly has been holding up in the last 2 or 3 weeks, really. There's a support at 120.80, which has been holding. The market's basically been going sideways since then, but I think that there is a lot of downside potential still to be seen in sterling. We've got obviously the US elections, which are just around the corner. That could certainly help to strengthen the dollar once again if that has a Clinton victory. And not only that, next month the likelihood is we're going to get a Fed rate hike, and that certainly will, again, I think, generate the dollar strength, which should ultimately break sterling to the downside, because at the moment it seems that everything is against sterling. The interesting factor I saw last week was the fact that growth figures came out better than expected for the UK, but ultimately sterling was sold into, because it seems as though the politics are still driving this one. And politics, and whenever Brexit is mentioned, hard Brexit, that puts sterling under pressure. So there's an awful lot of factors that could potentially drag sterling lower once again, back below the current support, 120.80, below 120, big figure as well.
Richard Perry, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.